I opened my bathroom door and stepped forward, but the world folded back on itself. No sound, no warning, no mistake. The door wasn't locked. Reality was. It began on an ordinary afternoon, the kind that leaves no memory behind. Warm water ran down my skin as I stood under the shower, unaware that this would be the last normal moment of my life. When I stepped out, dried myself, and put on clean clothes, my thoughts were empty and calm. I reached for the door without hesitation. I opened it. I stepped through, and I was still there. I stood inside my bathroom, facing the same door, closed and silent, as if it had never moved. For a few seconds, my brain refused to react. Confusion arrived before fear, soft and unreal. I told myself I imagined it. Fatigue, distraction, a harmless mental glitch. I tried again. I opened the door slowly, carefully, watching every detail. The hallway appeared exactly as it should. The bedroom door was closed. Light rested on the walls in familiar shapes. I stepped out, and instantly I was back inside. My breath shortened, my heartbeat grew loud in my ears. This time, fear followed immediately behind disbelief. I pressed my hand against the door, feeling the solid wood, the cold metal handle. Everything was real. Too real. I opened the door again and stayed where I was. I sat on the floor and stared through it. The hallway did not change. Nothing moved. Time continued forward. My phone showed the correct time. Messages refreshed, battery drained. Then, the door closed. I do not remember touching it. I do not remember it moving. I only know that one moment it was open, and the next, it was sealed shut, as if it had decided for itself. I called my mother. Explaining the situation felt humiliating, even as terror tightened around my chest. I struggled to put impossible thoughts into normal words. From her perspective, the situation sounded absurd. A bathroom door that opens but doesn't let someone leave makes no sense to a world that still obeys rules. She said she was coming. I waited on the cold tile floor, leaning against the bathtub, staring at the door as if it might open again on its own. The silence pressed against my ears. The air felt heavier, thicker, as though the room was closing in without moving. When I opened the door again, I didn't step out. I only looked. Everything appeared unchanged. The house felt empty but familiar. Then my phone vibrated. My mother asked if I was home. Minutes later, she told me she was standing outside the bathroom door. I heard nothing. No voice, no movement, no presence. I opened the door and stepped forward. The reset was instant. Back inside, door closed. The fear changed then. It stopped being sharp and fast. It became deep and slow, like sinking into cold water. From her side, the door would not open. She tried the handle. She removed the lock. She said the door still refused to move. When she looked through the hole where the lock used to be, she saw an empty bathroom. From my side, the lock was still there, untouched, perfect. Two versions of the same space existed at once. One that held me, one that denied me. Desperation took over. I needed to change something, anything. I ripped down the shower curtain in a burst of anger and fear. The fabric tore free, collapsing into the tub. Seconds later, it was hanging again, perfectly. I backed away, heart pounding. I checked the mirror. My reflection stared back at me, but for a moment, it felt delayed, like it was struggling to keep up. I turned toward the window. It was small and high, locked tight. I had never locked it. I didn't even own the key. I climbed onto the toilet lid and forced the handle. It opened. Outside, it was dark. Not evening dark, not night dark, something deeper. The sky looked drained of color. The houses beyond stood frozen, lifeless, like abandoned scenery. A low rumbling filled the air, distant and constant, vibrating through my bones. Every instinct screamed at me not to go further. Then, the window was closed. The blind was back in place. The plaster on the wall was untouched. The room had erased my attempt. I slid down to the floor, nausea rising in my throat. I realized then that nothing I changed stayed changed. The bathroom corrected itself, like a memory refusing to fade. My mother returned with someone to help. They removed the door entirely. They stepped inside. They stood where I was sitting. They took photographs. The bathroom was empty. I watched them occupy the space I could not leave, unable to be seen or heard. The realization crushed me slowly, painfully. I wasn't trapped inside the bathroom. I was trapped outside reality. The bathroom was the last place that remembered me. Objects returned because the room demanded consistency. The door reset because it could not allow escape. Time still moved because the world had not stopped. Only I had. My phone battery dropped into single digits. With every percentage lost, the weight of silence grew heavier. When it died, there would be no proof I was here. No record, no voice, no witness. I sat on the floor, as far from the door and window as possible, listening to the low rumbling that never stopped. It felt patient, endless. The room wasn't my prison. It was my replacement. And when my phone finally went dark, the last connection vanished with it. No one noticed. The house remained. The bathroom stayed empty. And somewhere between walls that still existed, I did not.